And I don't bring it up because I'm wallowing in some pity party. I bring it up to remind you, to let you know, first of all, that I've had personal experience with death panels and death squads and being told what's going to happen and how my elderly father-in-law is going to die, and then having it perpetrated upon him and being absolutely helpless to do anything to stop what they did. Dan, it is, but it is a part of this system, and it is hopefully, what we expose when we expose the liberal media's bias and how they are playing a role in perpetrating these false narratives.
Amen to that.
So let's talk about a couple of other false narratives that they are again bringing out and throwing at us. Okay, so Bill O'Reilly is accused of sexual harassment. Monies are paid out. Bear in mind the other side to this, and that is that if you're a man these days and a woman accuses you of any kind of sexual misconduct whatsoever, you are, for the most part, guilty until proven innocent and likely to still have that stain and stigma follow you wherever you go.
And also, the other key point is the reality: insurance companies or lawyers will often tell you to settle rather than go to court and risk a larger settlement. That doesn't make him innocent. It doesn't make him guilty. It just that's the reality of the system that we've allowed created around us. That once lawyers get involved, everybody's looking for a payday and everybody's looking to get out and get done. And so the media think that's awful, but somehow when Stephen Colbert makes a really offensive gay sex joke about Donald Trump and Putin, yeah, they'll get a little excited about it, but not really too much.
Well, and so now I want to go back to the other side, and that is that you do have situations whereby women are raped and mistreated, and they feel as though they don't have any advocacy to speak because we have basically eliminated all sense of morality in our society, and we tell men and women through the abortion culture and so forth that they are nothing more than rabid animals who can't control themselves. That's the messaging.
It's funny. I was looking up another abortion group, not Planned Parenthood, but another one that's active in the Northwest early today. And it goes by CAIR, C-A-I-R, but apparently different CAIR, not the Council on American Islamic Relations. And you look at their list of what they stand for, and it's not just killing babies. It is they stand for intersectionality. In other words, the interrelation of all these lefty agenda items to each other. They stand for Black Lives Matter, and they stand for the LGBT agenda, etc. Like, this is pretty much what you're getting. It's from the left and the media. It's if you support one of these things, you support them all.
All right, I've got a question out of our chat room. And before I give you that question real quick, Dan, I just want to let you folks know, if you'd like to call in right now, you can. The number to call, 215-TOP-TALK, 215-TOP-TALK. The breakdown on that is 215-867-8255, 215-867-8255. Keep your comment or question to the subject at hand. Here's the question for you, Dan, and you're the perfect person to answer this. Media uses divisiveness to sell advertising and drive ratings. They've been selling campaigning for 2018 and 2020 since Trump won. Do you think we're in a permanent state of campaigning and that we cannot allow the administration, in order to stop the administration, basically, from getting anything done?
Well, I think the media benefit from a 24 hours, 365, every day, every week, every month, every year campaign. They get more advertising, they get more clicks, they get more focus on them. But yes, they've done everything they could except trying to organize an outright coup. They desperately want to stop Donald Trump. And that's why you can see everything that they do. They're trying, oh, this is bad. Oh, let's target this. Every person Trump nominates, every bill, mark my
Right.
words, tomorrow, when Trump apparently is going to sign the executive order about religious freedom, the media will go ape. They will make King Kong look like a piker.
Well, here's another part to that. You mentioned how the media is formatting this. Remember how the media has reported on, Antifa and so forth. Now, thankfully, there are people like Lauren Southern and a variety of others, I might add, who are on the ground recording what these free speech destroyers are doing when it comes to patriot speech or any kind of speech they don't agree with. But my point, though, in bringing this up to you, Dan, is look at how the media has tried still desperately to make it about how necessary it is for groups like Antifa to silence the hateful, bigoted, misogynistic, homophobic. What's the other for not Islamophobic, but
Islamophobic.
xenophobic language of all of the Trump people, or all basically at this point. Honestly, it's anybody waving an American flag.
Yeah, we had protests. We've had protests all the time lately. We had protests last weekend. A protest on Monday on May Day. There's a liberal journalist by the name of Tim Pool. I first found him very young, maybe he's fresh out of college, I don't know. He was going around following Occupy Wall Street, and he did some very good live video. And I followed him on Twitter. I've followed him ever since. Well, he's done some very honest video, and he was at one of the Trump gatherings earlier this week, probably on May Day. And in it, he confessed something. He said, I can't, because there were two groups of police were keeping them apart, the Antifa and the pro-Trump people. He said, I can't walk on the Antifa side. He said, there are people, some people will punch me in the head, some people will try to harm me or break my camera. He said, I can walk with the conservatives. He said, because they're pro-law and order. He said, they don't bother me. They believe in the law. And it was such a damning point about liberalism, because this guy's liberal. But here's the deal. He's also honest. And in my followings for 7 years or whatever it's been, I expect he'll be pretty honest about what he finds. And so here he is. He can't even walk on the crazy protester side because they will harm him, because they don't want any images of what they do shown. If you show really what's going on, they don't like it.
And kudos for him to, come out and just say, hey, I'm just going to tell you what I see. That's it. Folks, that's all we're asking. All we're asking for is that, and this is true of both sides, Dan, because there are some biases that have gone the other direction as well. It's naive to say that's not the case. But the point is that we just want to let you know, here's what's really happening. Here's what's really going on. Here's the truth of the situation. And now you decide. For example, why aren't we hearing about what happened at UT in Austin? You have a murder and 3 more people that were stabbed. And based on the pictures of the guy that apparently looked like he did this with his long knife, I don't know. I mean, he kind of looks like he may be of a particular persuasion. But then again, I guess I could be profiling, Dan.
Well, I mean, you could be profiling, you could be entirely right. But either way, that's the kind of story ordinarily would make news. I've gotten to the point, I hate that it sounds so cynical, but when I see a bad crime happen, and as information starts to come out about the suspect, and I don't hear the race or don't hear the religion of the suspect or no indication, I get suspicious. the more they don't give me the information, the more I assume certain things. And I think most Americans are at that point. We so mistrust American media with good reason that when they don't tell us information, we assume they're lying to us, because they usually are.
Well, this guy's name is Kendrick White, and apparently, again, he, was engaged in this activity, and according to reports on KView, ABC affiliate KView, he's told the police, he says, I don't remember. I don't remember what I did. I don't remember doing, I don't remember anything.
Yeah, I don't think that excuse tends to work all that much really in court. But where all the crime stories and all the terrorism stories, where they all falter, is that the media don't tell you the truth. Yeah. They doctor up they won't show too many crime stories that make people of color or victim groups that they support look bad. But they're happy to show bad stories about police.
Speaking of which, again, thoughts and prayers go out also to the police and firefighters up in Dallas that were ambushed on Monday. Another police ambush up there. And if I'm not mistaken, the information that I saw on that was a former leader of the new Black Panthers. Dallas shooter who shot firefighter was Black Panthers leader under FBI investigation, Derek Lamont Brown.
Another story you will not see much of in the evening news.
Nope.
Look,
doesn't fit the narrative.
We don't want the evening news to go from over here to over here either. We just want it to land somewhere in the middle so that you can actually trust it. We used to be able to trust our media. We used to have common media. We'd all watch the same entertainment. We'd all watch the same big three broadcast news. Now there's so many darn shows and so many darn channels and so many darn news outlets. You have no idea what's going on, and nobody agrees with anybody.
Yeah. All right, last story. We're right at the end of our time. Samantha Bee's husband is putting up a fight trying to keep poor black kids out of his children's school.
Yeah, I think anything that embarrasses Samantha Bee is a good thing. Let's face it, liberals being hypocrites is not news. That's pretty much a guaranteed state of their being.
Yeah.
But still, given how the media went agog at Samantha Bee's special the other day, it is pretty funny to see how little they care.
Yeah. Well, here we go again. Jason Jones. This is according to the Daily Wire, former correspondent for the left-wing Daily Show, also husband of Samantha Bee, one of the leftist leaders of the so-called resistance movement against President Trump. President Trump, the racist, misogynist, Yeah. Anyway, Jason is really upset because they're apparently trying to put black and Latino students into schools that his kids go to, and you just can't have that. All right, folks. Well, there you go. We'll end on that one because it just shows the blatant hypocrisy. And the next time Samantha Bee opens her mouth, the filter would be liar, liar.
She needs a filter considering all the dirty words she uses.
It's pretty bad. Dan Gaynor has been my guest, Media Research Center, newsbusters.org. Pick up his newest article at newsbusters.org. And Dan, we look forward to having you back next week.
I do look forward to it as well.
We'll take a break. Back with more. You're listening to The Chosen Generation, where no topic is off limits. Everything filtered through biblical glasses. On the other side, Derek Wilburn will join us. And, yes, forget bathrooms. New legislation on gender takes insanity to an entirely different level. For those of you in California, it's coming your way. We'll have it for you right here on Chosen Generation right after this.
Hey, I don't back anybody unless I believe in them. And I do believe in the value of investing in gold and silver. And the company I trust to buy my gold and silver from is Swiss America. I've been working with them for nearly a decade. I trust them, and you can too. Swiss America will help you sort through and find the best options available when you're considering investing in gold and silver coins. Listen, for over 30 years, Swiss America has been offering Americans what they want in their investments: safety, liquidity, quality, reliability, and a potential profit. Gold and silver have a place in every investor's portfolio. So, why not let Swiss America help you diversify your investment portfolio now? Call now for free information. 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907.
So you missed the healthcare deadline and don't have any form of healthcare? Liberty Health Share has the answer. Liberty Health Share offers an affordable healthcare option that allows Americans to enroll any time of the year. Even if you've already enrolled but are not satisfied with your choice, you can switch to Liberty Health Share today. Liberty Health Share allows Americans to control, manage, and direct their healthcare by allowing them to choose any doctor or hospital across the country, yet still be in good standing with the Affordable Care Act. So members are exempt from the tax penalty and mandates imposed on those without health care insurance, giving you freedom from insurance. Memberships are for individuals, couples, and families, offering a variety of options to best suit an individual's medical needs. If you're a freedom-loving American looking for contract-free health care, then this is for you. For more information on how to enroll any time of the year, call 855-585-4237, 855-585-4237, or visit libertyhealthshare.org to request a free estimate. Not available in Pennsylvania.
Hi, my name is Mike Cagle. I am a veteran and a retired law enforcement officer who swore an oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I've been in radio over 20 years and have not found anyone who more closely represents the values of veterans, law enforcement, constitutional patriots, and Bible-believing Americans like myself, and who is willing to say what America needs to hear than Pastor Greg here on Chosen Generation. That's why I'm a monthly supporter of his ministries at $200 a month. Now, maybe you can't afford that, but then maybe you can afford more. Whether you can send monthly support or a one-time gift, we need Pastor Greg on the radio now more than ever. So please go to his website, PastorGregYoung.org. That's PastorGregYoung.org. Again, PastorGregYoung.org, and make your secure donation today. You can also mail in a check to Family Christian Center, P.O. Box 3393, Bandera, Texas 78003. That's Family Christian Center, P.O. Box 3393, Bandera, Texas 78003. For God and country, please do it today. Thank you, and God bless you.
Do any of these sound familiar? Not sleeping well, waking up tired, drinking more coffee than usual, can't stay focused, craving sugary drinks and snacks, feel like you're stuck on a treadmill, having trouble managing your weight, not sick but not firing on all cylinders? Any one of these could mean that you might have a system overload, and Thyroidrenal might just be right for you. Think about it. You've probably been feeling like this for a while. Life has a way of wearing you down, and if you aren't getting the right nutrients, then physical and emotional wear and tear will take its toll. Most of us at some time or another could use some nutritional support for our adrenal and thyroid glands to bring things back in balance. Our bodies respond well to optimal nutrition to keep daily energy levels up and stress levels down. Try Thyroidrenal from Michael's Naturopathic Programs, a nourishing support formula with vitamins, minerals, and herbs to put back what life takes out. Look for Michael's on the label. We're serious about good health. Thyroidrenal is available at leading health food stores nationwide. If you don't see it on the shelf, then ask for it by name. Thyroidrenal. This portion of our program is brought to you by Liberty Health Share. Liberty Health Share, helping you to obtain health care freedom today. Find out more at 855-585-4237, 855-585-4237.
can support Chosen Generation and make a tax-deductible donation by visiting www.pastorgregyoung.org. And now, back to Chosen Generation with Pastor Greg.
And welcome back to Chosen Generation, where no topic is off limits and everything filtered through biblical glasses. We are driving around Denver. No, I'm not. I'm in the studio here, but nonetheless, my good friend Derek Wilburn, Rocky Mountain Black Conservatives, and all around great guy. Anyway, he is on his way to another radio interview he's going to be doing after he gets done with us on AM 560 in Aurora. But we want to welcome our affiliates, KYH 540 AM, Delta, Utah, all across the great state of Utah, parts of New Mexico as well, and part of Colorado. No, are they? Yeah, there is a little piece of Colorado tucked in there as well. Boulder, Colorado, of course, Macon, Georgia, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Las Vegas, Nevada, Long Beach, California. Let's see, Tampa, Florida, and Pittsburgh and Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Also want to welcome Red State Talk Radio and KCAA 1050 AM, all across the Inland Empire of California and Southern California. And again, a happy birthday to my little sister, who is listening on KCAA 1050 AM. Great to have you with me today. We have got a very interesting new bill that is being processed and presented in California. Senate Bill 179, authored by Senators Tony Atkins of San Diego and Scott Wiener of San Francisco. This is a mind bender. Of a gender bender. What other words can you use, right? What else can you say? Derek, talk to us about this insanity.
This is a bill that would this is a bill that would make gender a matter of personal preference. So people who now have changed genders, whether they actually have gone under a knife or not, or whether they simply choose to not have one, could legally go back and have their birth certificate altered to state that they are one gender, the other gender, or no gender at all, or constantly fluctuating between the three.
Well, there's how many are there now? I think there's 52, right?
I believe if you sign up for a new Facebook account, you have the ability to choose amongst 56.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. So, unless you're Pastor Greg Young, and then you don't even have an option to choose your name.
yeah. Well, you couldn't prove you were you. So this whole thing is it's a runaway train. But I'll tell you what. What's happening, here's what I believe is happening politically. Now, we can argue about the spiritual, moral direction of the country, and of course we would think that this is all bad, and it is all bad. But politically speaking, the vast and overwhelming majority of Democrats in America, people who are, I'm a steel worker in Pennsylvania, I'm a Democrat, Dad was a Democrat, Dad before him was a Democrat, that type of an individual. They understand marriages between a man and a woman. Mm-hmm. They understand if you have a pee-pee, you're a man. If you don't, you're a woman. They understand all that stuff. The leadership of the Democrat Party and the vocal left wing, which is taking over that party, is cramming through this stuff that no one wants, and they are paying a price at the polls that's they may never recover from in our lifetime. So morally, we should be reprehended by this stuff. We should hate it with every fiber of our body. Politically, I think this is doing more damage to the left than anything that the right has done to the left in the last 20 years.
Well, you would certainly want to think so. It is interesting, though. They still seem to be able to pay enough money to get these protesters to show up, in particular to events that might threaten this whole gender issue, and anyone that might want to speak out, as you just did, in support. I mean, here we go again. We did this. Oh, my goodness, folks. Here we go again with allowing the wording to be changed. I mean, we have accepted now that we have to actually use the adjective traditional in front of marriage in order to define that we're talking about marriage between a man and a woman, Derek. And now they're forcing the same thing when you speak about gender. So we have to talk about, well, traditional gender views. Think about it. They forced us to add a definition to what used to be clearly understood when you spoke about gender.
Well, it's ultimately an aim toward the deconstruction of the family and the deconstruction of the Judeo-Christian ethic. That's the ultimate goal, and they've gotten further faster thanks in no small part to the last presidential administration.
Sure.
But to your point, when you've got $6 or $8 or $10 or $12 billion, you can pay for a lot of protesters. And there's one individual. There's more than one that are driving the heap, but of course Soros is the pinnacle. And when you're paying kids, $600 to show up and protest, and you've got $10 billion, you can afford a lot of protesters, and that makes it look like a populist movement when it isn't. This isn't a populist thing, even within the ranks of the Democrat Party. It's just that they're radical left wing. And many of those radical left wings are in positions of authority in the party. We see them on TV all the time. They don't come across as radicals, but they are. They are driving this stuff into the living rooms of America, and America doesn't want it.
No, you're absolutely right. As a matter of fact, it's interesting to note Texas doesn't want it either, and there was a significant occurrence of that in Austin, and Antifa found out what we've been trying to explain to them down here in Texas, and that is don't bring your nonsense to here. We're not interested in having any of that show up. They were sent running last month.
God bless Texas, and let's pray that what we're seeing in Texas is going to spread to other places, particularly to the coast and to the middle of the country and to the north borders, which would be the entire country. But this stuff, it is ultimately, I think they are overplaying their hand. They have been for a number of years. And when we get to the point where we have to pass laws to allow people to change themselves from identifying as a man to a woman, now we've left personal preference. Look, if you want to start identifying as Georgia Young, what do I care? Do whatever, you knock yourself out. I'm a liberty-minded person. If that makes you happy, go be happy, brother. But if you're going to start changing my laws so that my family and I have to conform to what you want, now you are trampling on my liberty, and most people don't know that. Most people recognize that, and that's why we see they have to pay protesters, because that's the only way they can get them.
Well, and it also, it's funny because when you talk about, how dedicated are these individuals to their causes, and then you ultimately find out that what is keeping them marching and out on the street is the money they're being paid. And I don't know if you saw the article, and I'll double check the veracity of it, but apparently there was let's see, Antifa demands their payment. Antifa members are now protesting George Soros demanding their money. Now I'll have to. Antifa members are now protesting. Yeah, this is on Reddit, Watchtower, DefiantAmerica.com, Scout.com, Stormfront.org. Obviously you're not going to see anything about this, nor did you. Remember, Derek, when you had the Ferguson protests? And
the BLM protesters were paid too.
Yep, and we saw them going to an office to collect their money, and we actually then heard them chanting, basically, "Pay us, or we're not going to continue to do this." And of course, the mainstream media, what did they give it? I think all of about 60 seconds, which they do, folks, because they give 60 seconds. So that at some point down the road, when someone says, "Well, you never covered this," they can say, "Well, sure we did," and they've got a 60-second sound bite, and that's as much as they give it. And of course, then they throw water all over it by perpetrating all the lies.
It's the difference between true grassroots, aka the Tea Party, and AstroTurf. I've been to Tea Party rallies across this country. I know you have. We met at one. And I never met a single paid person at one of them, including me, and I was a speaker. It was
you and me
Americans.
Both. You and me both.
It was amen. It was you flew down there. It was Americans rising up and saying our government's out of control, and we want to take it back. That's grassroots. When you have to pay people to promote your agenda, that tells me pretty much everything I need to know about your agenda. And in this case, it's an agenda being promoted by a very, very, very small group of people. And that's why when they interview most of these people, these Antifa knuckleheads and the rest of these guys, they can't answer the most basic and fundamental questions about what they're protesting. They don't even know.
Yeah. I got to share this. This is out of the chat room. Dana, thank you for your question. We were talking about the marriage issue. And her comment is, "Geez, pretty soon marriage is going to be with your dog." I'm posting in for her. There actually was, after the Obergefell decision came through, there truly was actually a dog marriage. It was done as a kind of a satire, but it really was a fact. Local resident Paul Horner in San Francisco actually married his dog, and it was predicated on an old miners law from way back on the California books that said that if marriage were ever determined, here we go. If a man and a man, this is 1850s California state laws and regulations. 1850, according to Article 155, paragraph 10, it says, if a man and a man can get married and a woman can get married, if ever comes that day, then a human and an animal will have the exact same right to marriage in every eye of the law. God help us if this is ever to happen. That's what the law says.
And what I began this conversation by discussing the deconstruction of the family, and that's exactly what it is. So her point is there's more to it than she makes. And I've been writing about this for years. So now that we have homosexual marriage, we already know the number one reason people who divorce cite for their divorce is lack of trust. Whatever that looks like, lack of trust is number one. So imagine this, unintended consequences, 10, 15, 20 years from now, and you've got John who used to be married to Marcia, but that didn't work out because John found out that Marcia was having an affair on him with Michelle. So they divorced, and now Marcia and Michelle are married, and John is remarried to Susan. And Susan used to be married to William, but that didn't work out. So now John and Susan, after a number of years, doesn't work out because John's starting to wonder if he really is attracted to women anyway. And now John remarries to Louis, and unravel this string. And pretty soon you have children who have mom and her ex-wife and her current husband, and dad and Lucille and her ex-wife, and on and on and on it goes. It's the deconstruction of the family, which why anybody would want that, I don't know, but people like George Soros, that is what they want.
Well, it's exactly what they want. This kind of lunacy is precisely national. By the way, those that are wanting to know, okay, hang on a minute. Seriously, this really, yes, it really did happen. Headline from December 4th, 2013. National Report has posted the article. But it's Paul Horner and his dog Mac at their wedding on Monday in front of friends and family and a priest declaring their love towards each other for eternity. And yeah, it's an actual story. So there you go.
Who should be surprised? Who should be surprised by that? And it's born of libertarianism, people who believe that you kind of hide behind the live and let live flag. As long as what you're doing doesn't harm me, what do I care? Well, we should care because we have a society. We have a society that is ours to tend, to nurture, to grow, to leave to future generations. And as we move in this direction of anything goes, not my business, as long as it doesn't touch me or affect me, then the ripple effect of that has the potential to be huge. And, you know, a guy marrying his dog doesn't affect me directly, doesn't affect you. It's none of our concern, none of our business. But it's the unraveling of our society.
Well, and it's so funny. Here. I mean, it's not funny, but here's what he says. I just love Max so much. Can't wait till we can finally get back to the honeymoon suite in Montana where bestiality is legal. And of course he's tongue in cheek. He says we can marry here just fine, but lovemaking is a big no. I mean, it is the whole idea of this was to basically say, you know, if all of these other things are going to be passed off as marriage, then why can't I do it? And since it's in the laws, you know, there's nothing to stop. But like you said, it is a complete and total deconstruction. And as I was sharing with someone over this past weekend, the deconstruction, the purpose behind it, I believe, Derek, is ushering in what we refer to scripturally as the abomination of desolation. And if you want to destroy God's image, and man is created in God's image, which makes us the arch enemy of Satan and of the devil, and yes, he's real, and you want to destroy the image of God, then destroy the means by which the manifestation of that comes about, and that is through a marriage, through a man and a woman marrying and procreating and subduing the earth.
Yeah, it's forgive them, Lord, for they know not what they do. They don't even realize the implications of what they are doing and what they believe. Mm-hmm. They want to have a completely open society where anything goes, marry who you want, be what you want to be, do what you want to do, as long as it feels good. And that is outside of the boundaries of what is going to promote a civil society. Eventually, there's going to be anarchy, because now you're saying to people, you can have whatever you want to have. Well, okay, I do want to marry a dog. I do want to do all sorts of things that you and I would consider to be immoral, but where people end up with it is it's immoral to you. But if it isn't immoral to me, then it should be legal and well for me to do. And not everything falls under that category. There are some things that simply are not good or right for a society, particularly for children.
Absolutely. You're absolutely correct. And unfortunately, though, the boundaries have been redefined and redrawn, and you know, this is what they want. They want absolute moral decay. And I'll take you folks back to another document, and it was entered into congressional record. And Derek, I know you're aware of this, but it's the 45 stated goals of the communists, going all the way back into the 40s. There was a book that was written about this, and it was entered into congressional record, and this 45 goals of the communists is one of the here we go. The Communist Takeover America 45 declared goals. It's coming out of the book called The Naked Communist, and it was written a number of years ago, I believe. Well, Congressman Albert S. Herlong, Jr. of Florida, read it into the records. But, it falls directly in line with what we're talking about here. And if you look at those goals, the morality, the moral attack is one of the primary attacks.
Has to come down. You cannot remove the Judeo-Christian ethic, tradition, and basis for law without taking morality down. The two, it cannot be done. And the argument that people don't understand, they make it all the time, but they don't understand it, is they say you can't legislate morality. Wrong.
Right.
That is the basis for our law. Our laws exist born out of morality, not the other way around. It is immoral for me to take something from you that is not mine. Because it was first immoral, it then became illegal. It's immoral to take another person's life. We don't punish you for doing things that are illegal that are not.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3 FM.
I'm Chuck Kamlick, CNBC. Mixed ending for the markets. The Dow was up 8 points, but the Nasdaq down 22, and the S&P lost 3. A busy day for business news. The Fed left interest rates unchanged for now because the economy hit a bit of a slow patch. ADP backed that up with news that private companies hired 177,000 workers in April, about 80,000 fewer than in March. Sprint stock fell more than 14% today. It's not easy being number 4. Sprint lost more customers and subscribers, and its chairman said he's open to mergers and acquisitions. Delphi Automotive, 10% higher. That company spinning off its powertrain business so it can focus on technology for electric cars. Weight Watchers adding a hefty 10% because it signed up more customers that are hungry to lose weight. And the New York Times with a 12% gainer today. The Times getting a trump up, 384,000 new subscribers online for the Times in just the past 90 days. Chuck Kamlick, CNBC.
My number 2 does not look like a number 2. I don't know what to call it. Is there a number 3?
Table for 4, please. Anything close to the restroom.
Oh, a middle seat with these stomach problems? That's my fear of flying.
Sound like you? If it does, you could be one of the many people with a digestive condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. Even if you don't know what EPI is, you might know the symptoms: frequent diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain. If you have even just one of these symptoms, you could still have EPI, because not everybody experiences EPI the same way, which is why it's so important to open up to your doctor about all your symptoms. And the good news is, EPI is manageable. So don't keep a lid on it. Go to identifyepi.com, complete the symptom checker, and use it to have a conversation with your doctor. Don't keep a lid on it. Visit identifyepi.com. Brought to you by AbbVie.
NBC News Radio, I'm Lisa Carter. A North Texas college is going to be closed for the rest of the day following an on-campus shooting that left 2 people dead. Irving police say the shooter and another victim were found inside a classroom at Northlake College. Still not known if this was a murder-suicide. A tutor is claiming to have witnessed the shooting.
Yes, she was sitting down. She was sitting down. He was standing in front of her.
Says she is pretty shaken up. The college asking all students, staff, and visitors to leave the campus. The Justice Department is not charging the officers connected to the killing of a black man in Louisiana. Alton Sterling was shot and killed as he was being detained by 2 officers outside a convenience store in Baton Rouge in July of 2016. The Justice Department said there was insufficient evidence to charge the officers. FBI Director James Comey agonized over his decision to announce a reopening of the Hillary Clinton email investigation just 11 days before the presidential election.
Comey told a Senate hearing that he faced a no-win situation after new emails were discovered.
This was terrible. It makes me mildly nauseous to think that we might have had some impact on the election.
He defended his decision.
Everybody who disagrees with me has to come back to October 28th with me and stare at this and tell me what you would do.
Comey said concealing the new information was not an option.
Concealing, in my view, would be catastrophic.
Shortly before the election, Comey made a follow-up announcement that nothing new was found in the renewed email probe. Hillary Clinton has said Comey is partly to blame for costing her the presidential election. On Capitol Hill, I'm Terry Moore, NBC News Radio.
An off-color joke Stephen Colbert told on Monday is sparking calls for his ouster from The Late Show. Critics have hit Twitter using the hashtag #FireColbert. He told a sex joke involving President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin as he blasted Trump for his treatment of Face the Nation host John Dickerson. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
A $50 hardly counts as money these days. It won't even buy a cup of coffee. But psst, here's an amazing $50 bargain for you. A first-class postage stamp. For 50 cents, you get the stamp, 3 cents in change, and America's phenomenal network of post office workers and letter carriers who deliver your missive into any of the 43,000 zip codes of this vast country. Our public postal service literally delivers, and many of our post offices serve as treasured community centers. 2 reasons that the U.S. Mail Service consistently ranks highest of all federal agencies in public support. So, naturally, it must be decimated and ultimately eliminated. That's what passes for logic in the back rooms of Congress and in the boardrooms of predatory corporations that want to take control of our mail for their profit. They keep demonizing anything public, especially any public service that actually works and is popular, because the corporate powers and the Congress critters they buy in bulk ultimately intend to privatize all of the people's government. To advance their plutocratic vision, they're out to tarnish the Postal Service as a massive, money-sucking, dying, bureaucratic behemoth. But here are a few facts they don't want you to realize. 1, this public agency provides affordable mail service to all, in poor communities as well as rich. 2, it does this without a dime of taxpayer money, financing its entire operation with the sale of stamps and services. And 3, it provides hundreds of thousands of solid middle-class jobs spreading throughout every zip code in America. This is Jim Hightower saying, to help keep this public jewel out of the hands of a few greed-headed, price-gouging, low-wage, tax-dodging corporations, support a grand alliance to save our public post offices. Find it at agrandalliance.org.
You're listening to KCAA, your good neighbor along the way.
Getting America back on track. Bill Martinez live.
Well, hello, America. Bill Martinez here with you 6 minutes after the top of the hour. For more information on the show, you can go to BillMartinezLive.com. Get involved in the conversation at hashtag BML Talk. Let us know. And you can even hit the phone lines at 877-317-6432. Hey, we got an open mic situation, so if there's something that is on your heart that you want to particularly talk about and share with us, by all means, we'll open up the phone line, 877-317-6432. So, not to really hammer so much or belabor the situation with Hillary Clinton, but, it's interesting. I think she's still trying to process this whole deal. And it's, you don't know until you hear what people say. The rest of it is kind of conjecture, and you can have an opinion about it. And certainly there's been lots of opinions about what happened with Hillary Clinton. But, to hear her talk is quite revealing if you listen to what she says. Wants to blame Clinton. Wants to blame Comey, Russia, the
WikiLeaks.
But she set herself up, Scott, as you and I were talking. She was the one that decided to have the, the server, in a, what was it, in a closet in Colorado or something, and what she subjected herself to. And then, of course, the DNC, like they were prepared. And what came out, if you remember, is there was a warning. I think the FBI sent out a warning, said, hey, you guys, there's some activity. People are trying to break into your information. Well, the Republicans, they responded right away. Not the Democrats. They left it wide open. And then, of course, what a mess.
You mean password's not a good password?
No.
All right, give me a minute. I got to change some stuff.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's crazy, but it's just absolutely silly. I mean, and here's these people. What cracks me up is these are the very same people when they're vying for jobs, and you realize how much money you're paying them. They tell, well, they graduated from Harvard. They're these brilliant people. You got to have these people. You got to pay all this money. You got to, give them a golden parachute upon retirement after serving the government for 2 years. And you go, well, wait a minute. Last time I checked, we're $20 trillion in debt. We have all this incompetence all over. And you would think that with these brilliant people on the Beltway running our government, we'd be doing a lot better than this. Wouldn't you think?
Being brilliant does not shield you from greed. It does not shield you from making stupid choices. There's a lot of brilliant people that are right now sitting in jail.
Yes, right. Exactly.
So, yeah, I don't know if anybody deserves a golden parachute.
Well, and certainly not when you're serving the government. I mean, it was never this way expected by the founding fathers that you would retire from the government. It would be a career. You were to be a citizen politician and go out there and actually be subjected to the very laws you created. But no, these elites, they work out the deal that say, hey, look, it's all for you, but not for me. I mean, really? And I think more and more people, and I got to tell you, as I'm in my travels across this country, as I talk with people on airplanes or in other, other venues, they are starting to get it. And this is what all this stuff, I mean, they people can make fun of Donald Trump and say all they want to say about him, but in the big picture scope of things, Donald Trump right now is their only champion. I mean, they're not getting this from Paul Ryan or Mitch McConnell. There's no vision or even hope. I mean, they're not even bringing up the obvious things that Trump is responding to, and they say he's a populist. Well, he's got his finger on Main Street America. He understands what it is that's bothering them, and he's giving them voice, which is the first time in a long time. And, the Democrats can do what they want to do and, play chess and checkmate the government and stop things. But, this is not over. I mean, in much the same way that the Tea Party, even everything that the government tried to do, Barack Obama, Lois Lerner, the IRS, what they tried to do to stop the Tea Party, they just kept on going. They said, okay, we can't necessarily affect things on a national level the way we started, so we're going to do it at a local level. Look how effective they've become. And now, slowly but surely, I think there's only a couple now. When we talked with Jenny Beth Martin, only a couple who have not received their tax exemption. But, I mean, it absolutely galls me that when they talk about rigging the election, that they never talk about the Tea Party and what they did to the grassroots level and how they set it on fire and just marginalized them and set them aside by not accommodating and giving them a tax exemption like any of the other liberal groups. But there's no outrage on this. It's all quiet. And this is the stuff that's bubbling on Main Street that Donald Trump understands and he's responding to. And he's got an uphill battle because, as we talked about early on, Scott, it's not like Washington, D.C. wants to get fixed.
And that's one of the things is that he's not just battling the Democrats, he's battling Republicans, too. Because there's two sides of the swamp. Well, I think I firmly believe you have good people on both sides of those things that genuinely want to do good for people. Mm-hmm. I think there's people on both sides that don't really care, to the extent that I think they should. I think that they saw this as a way for them to gain notoriety, money, power. Power, money. But I do think there's people that genuinely care.
But it's hard, though, Scott, when you go into, it's like an organization. If you go work for a company, and we've all been there, and you work for some companies, you just go, no matter what you do, the dysfunction is so bad, it's from the top down, it's so well established and ingrained. I used to say you just don't have a fair chance to win. But if you can't control or have any input into the reigning culture of any organization, and it's a round peg in a square hole, you don't have a fair shot at it. You're not going to be successful. Your people are frustrated. They're non-productive. All those bad ills that go along with an inefficient operation. And this is what's going on in our government.
Yeah, and honestly, I think for him, he might want to start with his own side of the aisle on the cleanup. We already know what the other side is, but again, I don't want to sound like I'm too down on it all, but what has the leadership on the Republican side done so far?
Yeah, well, this is what's coming to note, and now, boy, you hear all the nervousness and the clattering that's going on about health care. I mean, Jimmy Kimmel last night, went on and talked about, basically how well Obamacare worked for the heart surgery for his child, and was quite an emotional plea. And the response, social media-wise, I mean, it lit up.
He's a millionaire.
Yeah.
He's a millionaire.
Yeah, I know, but still, but the way he presented it, Main Street, the Main Street America related to what he was sharing with them, and they responded. I mean, his response through social media just went up exponentially. So there are stories and there are connections out there, and the Republican Party, along with Donald Trump, and I would say all political groups need to understand connectivity and influence, and for the right reasons, substantiated with fact. And that would go a long way in getting this country back on track. I'm Bill Martinez. Good to have you along with us. The conversation continues. We're looking about 15 minutes after the top of the hour right now.
The answer to being in control of your own healthcare is freedom from insurance. Become part of a group of self-pay patients that come together to share in each other's medical expenses. Individual share amounts begin at $107 a month and $347 for families. Choose from 3 health-sharing programs. Holistic treatments may be eligible for sharing. See guidelines. Discount programs available for dental, vision, and pharmacy. Go to libertyoncall.org. That's libertyoncall.org.
Hi, my name is Lee, and for 10 years I've suffered from ulcerative colitis. I've taken prednisone, ibuprofen, and many other prescription drugs and never saw any improvement. I tried salmon oils and flaxseed oils, but only burped them up, and they did not seem to help. Then I learned from an acquaintance who healed her rheumatoid arthritis by using Andreas seed oils. I was so inspired to try them, I began taking Andreas flaxseed, 5-seed blend, black cumin, and coriander seed oils. In 5 months, the swelling in my hands was so reduced, I was able to see my knuckles for the first time in 5 years. I've been off all medications for 13 months, and by using only Andreas seed oils, my colitis is controlled, and the arthritis pain in my knees is also reduced, and my inflammation is zero, and so many other benefits.
A patent-pending process has been developed which results in seed oils that have virtually zero oxidation and are structurally intact. Now, the full healing power of seed oils is available to you via the Andreas seed oils. Call Synergistic Nutrition at 888-988-3325 or visit sacredseedoils.com. That's sacredseedoils.com.
In these uncertain times, it makes sense to have a sustainable backup method to cook food and boil water. If your current plan includes using a fuel-burning stove or cooking over an open fire, then there's a much better way. The Minuteman Rocket Stove is a biomass-burning cooking stove that only requires small quantities of sticks and twigs for fuel. The Minuteman Stove is easy to use, smokeless, portable, powerful, and sustainable. For the finest in survival cooking stoves and fire starters made right here in the USA, go to MinutemanStove.com. That's MinutemanStove.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
The final phase of extermination is set to commence now. And as population...
Erin here from On the Brink Morning Show, where we talk about all that is engaging in the Inland Empire. News, politics, business, family, things to do, and so much more. Join us weekdays from 6 to 7 a.m. on KCAA 102.3 FM, 106.5 FM, and 1050 a.m. or on KCAAradio.com.
KCAA Loma Linda, your CNBC news station for the Inland Empire.
Send your emails direct. NSA free to bill@billmartinezlive.com.
And President Trump and Russia's Vladimir Putin vowing to take on Syria and North Korea together. The two world leaders speaking on the phone for the first time since U.S. missiles blew up a Syrian airbase last month.
It was a very constructive call that the two presidents had. Very, very fulsome call, a lot of detailed exchanges. So we'll see where we go from here.
President Trump and Putin also agreed to meet face-to-face in July at the G20 summit in Germany.
Well, there you go. I mean, I'm surprised that the mainstream media has not gone wiggy over that. I mean, they're probably going to go, well, you know, Trump and Putin, you know, they're getting together to work on the next campaign together. Oh, gosh.
Well, Mark Cuban was on, I think it was MSNBC the other day, and he brought up a really good point. He goes, look, it's not all bad with Trump. He goes, every time he's met face-to-face with a foreign leader, he goes, it's been a very positive experience. It's been a very good thing. And he goes, so, you know, he keeps talking about all this bad that's with him, but he's done some good stuff too.
Well, that's a good point. Yeah, well, I'm glad that Cuban gave us some sober perspective, and he's come up with some good ideas, and I think he's backed off a little bit and seeing that you know, Trump is not as wild as he thought, and some of his earlier comments had suggested, actually more than suggested. But nonetheless, well, that's good, and he's exactly right. I mean, you know, whether it's Nieto or you know, the Canadian Prime Minister, you know, China certainly. I mean, there's been some good things that are coming out of this, and so you know. Poor Donald Trump. I mean, no matter what he does, the mainstream media is just so anti-Trump that if he breathes, that's a problem, you know. And then, of course, then you have Maxine Waters, who says, I never said to impeach him, and now she's back to saying impeach him again. I mean, come on, people. I mean, we got to get this country back on track. How is this serving the people? I mean, you're so ideologically fixed. See, this is the shame of this all, is that for all the energy that they're putting into this, we need them doing some heavy lifting, like, you know, doing something about this healthcare program that is about ready to implode, and it looks like the Republicans are very reticent to get their act together here, Scott. I mean, they're looking terrible on this, and for Trump, you know, Trump's now coming back and going, well, you know, midterm, you know, we need those 60 votes. I mean, this is like, well, you know, this is all part of the mantra, and he's got to be careful. Because Republicans said, hey, we need the House. Give us the House, and we'll get this thing squared away. Well, give them the House, and then they needed the Senate. Got to have the Senate. Well, they got the Senate. And, if you only give us the Oval Office, you give us the Oval Office, we're going to drain the swamp. We're going to do all this stuff.
Well, and that's one of the issues I'm having is did you, during all this campaigning that you've done, have you forgotten how to lead? Have you forgotten how to legislate? I mean, come on. You have almost... You have to convince 8 people from the other side to come over.
Well,
you're a politician. You can't convince 8 people to come over and see your side of things?
Yeah, you would think you'd be able, especially in light of the fact that, what do you got, 9, 10 senators whose seats are up there, are very vulnerable in areas in districts that, you know, Trump won resoundingly. And so you'd think, hey, maybe they can get a little bit of movement here. But no, there's, they're holding their ground. They're stuck. Their heels are there. And, as we suggested, McConnell can change the rules. I mean, they can, and do away with the filibuster. I know it'd be very dangerous to do this sort of thing because it'll come back and bite you as it did.
I don't think you can do that. I don't think that's even an option that you can put on the table. I think eventually that favors one. It will always favor one side or the other.
Right. Exactly.
And then you're looking at, well, what do I do? Yeah, it's just like executive orders. I mean, I know they're there, and I know that they're part of the system, but you probably shouldn't be using them because it's really easy for the next guy to come in and just say, well, that's gone, that's gone, that's gone. We just saw it happen.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll see more. And we'll see more of that. And maybe that's the only good thing about executive orders. Yes, it's a short-term fix, but if you don't have the group and the influence to be able to make it into law and have have Congress and the Senate approve it, then it becomes subject to change.
But that's their job. Let's stop letting people get away from their job. And I'm not leaving Trump out of this either. He told us very specifically that he was a deal maker, that he knew how to go in and get the tough deals done. Well, let's see it. Let's see it. You bring in both Paul Ryan, who I'm not even sure what he does there. If there was a performance review every 6 months, I'm guessing he would be deducted pay. And you bring in Schumer and Pelosi and all them, and hey, let's get this done. It's not for the Republican Party. It's not for the Democratic Party. Everything they do is supposed to be for the American people.
Well,
let's see it.
You're right, Scott, and this is where the president needs to use the bully pulpit. He needs to take his vision. He needs to take it on the road, and even if he, like what he said the other night, it's not being at the dinner, at that crazy dinner in D.C. and the contrast that was shown with him, having a rally of thousands of people there versus being at the White House. A dinner of what am I looking for? The Correspondents' Dinner. Being at that dinner, it was ridiculous. Why would the guy want to go there? I mean, it's just, let's roast the president. Well, you roasted him the year before he was president. So, you got your pound of flesh. It's time for him to really be about the people's business. Forget about that stuff. Go on the road, take the story, let the people understand what's going on, and put the pressure on their elected officials. I think that's the way he's got to do it because, as you say, and I agree with you, I'm very disappointed in Mitch McConnell and in Paul Ryan. And I know some people say, wow, they're doing, they got their, well, those are all excuses, In business, you've got to come down to a bottom line. What have you affected? To your point, have you done your job? Are you doing what the people expected you to do? You've been asking for the, to have control, that you would take care of the health care program problem, and you haven't. You have failed miserably, and it looks like you're going to fail again. And I'll tell you, if they blow this, if they absolutely blow this again, Scott, I think the Republican Party is done. I mean, and that may sound drastic, but I'm just saying is that, look, you guys got to figure out what to do here and realize how urgent it is, number one. Number two, what are you willing to put on the line? As we said, we said this a while ago, is that, are you willing to fall on your sword? I don't see Paul Ryan or Mitch McConnell ready, willing to fall on their sword.
Well, and that's the thing. I agree with you. I do think that you are going to start losing people because now they're talking about those mini elections. We need those 8 extra people. Well, no, I've already given you a chance here, and I've always said I was independent, but I've always leaned more right. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking at them, and I'm being just as critical of them as Democrats are, and not for the same reasons, obviously. Right. But if what happens if you disenfranchise me? What happens if somebody like Mark Cuban, who I actually like, and I like a lot of his ideas, what happens if he runs? Mm-hmm. And he keeps talking about all the same stuff that I like.
But the problem we have here, I think this is, we got a fair shot on this right now with the cast of characters, with Donald Trump, to do something, to really do something about this. I don't know, what concerned me with Donald Trump was much the same thing that I saw what happened in California with Arnold Schwarzenegger. If you remember, Schwarzenegger went into California with all this bluster and bravado, and he was going to get these wussy men, he was going to get these guys together and stuff like that. Well, they all but handed him his hat. He didn't understand the machinations of politics and how nuanced it is and how, oh my gosh. I mean,
it was like Jesse Ventura up here.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesse Ventura won the governorship, and he went in and realized that things aren't. Look, it's easy to criticize from the outside. So yeah. I mean, I got to be careful about that. But at the same time, just do what we voted you in there for.
Right. Well, the thing is that you said that's what you were going to do, and you didn't do it. So that's what you're being measured, and you're not being critical. You're just saying, hey, look, this is what you told me you were going to do. You got my vote. And it didn't happen. So you've lost all credibility here. Well, the conversation continues. Thank you for being with us. It's 29 after.
Project done with incredible deals from Lumber Liquidators. This week at the best selection of Woodlook waterproof flooring up to 24% off. All water-resistant Dream Home Ultra X2O laminate is 11 to 13% off. And get 10% off pre-finished engineered hardwood and engineered bamboo. They're great for every environment and every level of your home. More deals from 69 cents plus special financing. Get the perfect floor with deals from Lumber Liquidators today.
With the recession ending, if you've been putting off building your business, now is the time to act. General Steel will meet or beat any price on a pre-engineered steel building of the same size and specifications. Act now before steel prices go up. So call us today for free information.
Call 800-617-9312. 800-617-9312. 800-617-9312.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM. K292FQ Riverside, and K293CF Moreno Valley.
Welcome to Healthline Live, brought to you every day at this same time, Monday through Friday. Your host is Dr. Bob Marshall, PhD, a clinical nutritionist for over 35 years. He's successfully helped more than 50,000 people. That's why he's known for nutrition that really works. And he's here today to share nutritional secrets which have taken years to discover and which he's implemented on his own health journey. The supplements that Dr. Marshall recommends are almost all live source, free of questionable encapsulating agents, and have been created using the highest manufacturing standards available for dietary supplements. Dr. Marshall's comments have not been evaluated by the FDA and are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. On each and every show, Dr. Marshall listens to your health and nutrition questions and provides education for your continued good health. And now, here's Dr. Marshall.
Welcome to Healthline Live. We're here to answer your nutrition and health-related questions. Don't be bashful. Feel free to call in and get answers using taking advantage of the latest discoveries in medicine, dentistry, and of course clinical nutrition. So that toll-free number for your calling in, 888-588-7576. And of course visit us online. You don't want to miss our Saturday 1-hour blockbuster show. Tell a friend. Join us. You can look up the radio listing times across the country, qnlabs.com. And of course that toll-free number works on Saturdays, so you can get the jump on everybody. 888-588-7576. And every day we come to you, we got a blockbuster special to reward you and your family for tuning in. Today we're going to talk a little bit about adrenal health, and this is really a sort of a pandemic in the U.S. Everybody's at some coffee shop drinking these ridiculously expensive coffee things to flog their adrenals, to make them sharp and alert through the day and give them a feel-good sense for $6-7. Wow. I'm stunned to see that. Meanwhile, you can pretty much count on a slow but steady destruction of your adrenal glands. So coffee is definitely not your friend. It's something that should be used rarely. And if you do need a pick-me-up, my favorite pick-me-up is a little bit of colostrum capsules. The colostrum, of course, is preformed immunoglobulins, and right away it will drop the demand for white cells increase your red cells, and right away you're going to feel a little more alert, but you're not going to have your adrenals beaten to a pulp. So that's something you can use between now and then. But the adrenals are often in trouble for a lot of other reasons. One is simply don't get enough water. And you know, every 6-8 ounces of coffee you drink, you need an extra 32 ounces of water. And your baseline for water is half your body weight in ounces a day. So if you weighed 150, you need 75 ounces of water a day. And almost nobody in America is getting enough water. So if you're at 40 ounces and you should be at 75, you can't go to 75 in a week. What you can do is add 8 ounces one day a week, and each week you're upping another 8 ounces for the day till you get to that 75 ounces or whatever your weight should be. And now the body can adjust and use that water perfectly. Another problem is salt. And for many of you, if you're a junk food junkie, you're loading potato chips, you've got enough salt for several people. But if you're not eating any of these foods, after 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, you may find yourself short of salt and then producing aldosterone instead of adrenaline. And now you feel like you need something like coffee to give yourself a kick in the pants, and it puts you in trouble. So what do we need to do here? Well, you want to taste your perspiration at the upper outer part of your arm. It should taste slightly salty. If it does, great. If it doesn't, then you should be loading air-dried sea salt, or better yet, our pink salt, which is air-dried sea salt with some volcanic trace elements the body desperately needs. And you check maybe every 3-4 days. Once you've got a light salt taste, that's perfect. And now you've got the salt and the water. These are the two things the adrenals need to work with. But they also need 5 straight hours of sleep or more. And if this isn't happening, then feel free to call the order line. They'll give you some ideas on what to do to get that squared away if you're waking up for no reason, or if you're getting up to urinate, or whatever is going on. It's hard to go off to sleep. They can help with all those things. And the other guy that the adrenals need, of course, are many B vitamins, B6, B2, PABA, pantothenic acid, and those are all necessary to produce the adrenal hormones that you really want, the corticosteroids, and they're all going to be in max stress B. So 1 or 2 teaspoons of that is going to give you the B vitamins, and you're going to especially need it if you've been a bit of a sugar junkie, and you need to shift gears there to start loading starch and killing that sugar craving. Vitamin C is another player needed, and this is fairly easy to get if you're eating some citrus fruit, but many of you through the winter don't get hardly anything in the way of good vitamin C rich fruit. And if that's the case, then you want to jump on our quantum vitamin C. And this is not just ascorbic acid, which actually can create some problems, but this is a concentrate of the whole complex of vitamin C, ascorbic acid, but all the bioflavonoids to regenerate it. So it's a wonderful, wonderful player. Now, we also have to realize that if you're iron deficient, especially you ladies, you know, you have a very heavy menses and it's creating an iron deficiency, or you're iron deficient, you're not sure why, then you want to jump on tyrosine while this is happening, because it's critical. The iron was needed to make, along with phenylalanine, tyrosine would be made from those two, and it's needed to make thyroxine, and it's needed to make adrenaline. And of course, we offer adrenal support for you guys that have beat up your adrenals, and it would contain cordyceps, which already contains tyrosinases, so it can cover you there. And adrenal support is one of my favorite things to use. You want to take maybe 6 or 8 capsules at breakfast, and you want to do that for 4 to 8 weeks. And I think you'll find as you do that, you get a good B vitamin, that you're going to you're not crave that coffee anymore. And so now it could be something that's occasional rather than an addiction and you needing a fix. So today we'll have our adrenal support on special. You buy 2, get 25% off each, one of my favorite de-stress products. So by all means, give a buzz to our order line, 800-370-3447. 800-370-3447. All right? Let's go to Jan in St. Louis, and she's concerned about her thyroid because she may have a little higher TSH than she would like. Are you there, Jan?
Yes, the TSH is 6.28.
Well, that's not really god-awful. As your doctor has probably already told you, that's pretty minor. What it's saying is that your pituitary is working harder to get your thyroid to do its job. So you might find that by taking a little iodine from a food source like Xeno X, maybe taking 10 of those per day at your main protein meal so that it's picked up really well, like lunchtime would be the best time for your main protein meal, and doing that for about 3 months and then retest, you may find that it's got just what it needs. You are part of what it was infamously known as the goiter belt, where people had very low iodine intake and as a result just had all kinds of trouble with the thyroid. So this is the most likely thing to do. Of course, we do see that people that have a lot of dental restorations, in particular things like silver fillings along with crowns, will have an 80-fold increase in the heavy metal outgassing and may, as a result, have electroplated or interfered with thyroid and parathyroid, and this might be an issue. Do you have a lot of dental restorations, Jan?
Yes, I had some. I had probably 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
5 silver fillings?
Yes.
And what about any crowns?
No, not with silver filling.
Oh, okay. Well, if you don't have any crowns, then I suspect iodine's going to be your best bet, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And just try that. I think you'll be very happy with that. After 3 months, I would cut to 3 caps per day, and that should be plenty for maintenance, okay?
Okay, thanks so much.
You're welcome. Bye now. All right, this is Dr. Bob Marshall, PhD. This is Healthline Live, and let's go right back to the phones here. You can reach us toll-free if you want to call in with your questions, 888-588-7576. Have a friend. Visit us in QN Labs. Don't miss Saturday's 1-hour show. You can look it up online there, qnlabs.com. Let's go to Charlotte in Schenectady, New York, and both legs are swelling, and she's wheezing, and geez, she just must feel miserable. Are you there, Charlotte?
Yes, I am, doctor.
All right, and how old a woman are you, and how much do you weigh?
I'm 91, and, well, the doctor says I have a lot of pounds of fluid, so I weigh 180-something.
I see. Well, to understand, first of all, when the legs swell, that's your kidneys. So we need to support kidney.
Well, I do take kidney support.
How much do you take?
Bladder support.
How much kidney do you take, Charlotte?
2 a day.
No, that you'd need about 4 per meal. Okay? 4 per meal, and then you're also going to need something called DHA 200, and that's the docosahexaenoic acid, and maybe you'll take about 10 of those at your main meal. You can chew them and just spit out the capsule. They taste good. Okay? Now, that should help the kidney tremendously. Now, the lungs are the backup to the large intestine. So the first thing we have to do to make sure the large intestine is good is never to eat cooked food without taking digestive enzymes and hydrochloric acid. Are you doing that?
Yes, I am.
Okay, well, let's review what you'd need. You'd need at least 2 quantum digests before the start of the meal, and then at the end of the meal, you would need at least 4 betaine hydrochloride. Is that what you're using?
No, not that much. I'm using, but not that much.
Okay, it won't work.
Hydrochloride, no, I'm only using 2.
It won't work then. It's not enough for you at your age. Now, this is a start, but if I were you, I would call the order line and get the number of a QRA practitioner, because they're going to be able to go through your body step by step, pinpoint exactly what you need and how much, but also if there's a scar or trauma that might be sedating the kidney, like an old episiotomy or something else, they can mud pack that, get the energy to freely flow through it, and just change the game for you. The other thing I would urge you to do is get on the biofield diet, and in your case, I would follow the diet 100% strict. So where it says you can have some food occasionally, you would not do it. And get the latest copy of the biofield diet and the latest copy of the resource list. You'll realize that even at 91, you can get this body to function unbelievably well and have many more good years, Charlotte, not garbage years. And if I went too fast, just give a buzz to the order line about 10 or 15 minutes after the hour, and they're going to be able to pull up my notes and review this with you so that you get everything correct. Okay?
I see.
All right.
Okay.
Take care. You're
thank
welcome.
you, Doctor.
Bye now. All right. This is Dr. Bob Marshall, PhD. This is Healthline Live. We're answering your nutrition and health-related questions. You'll reach us toll-free, 888-588-7576. And don't forget, if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, call the order line. Get the number of someone who knows QRA, quantum reflex analysis, and have them test you, go through the body. They can quickly find specifics like if you want digestive health or bone metabolism or the whole body, they can do these. And after they figure out what nutrients the body needs, they're able to hunt down those pesky scarred traumas that may be destroying an organ or gland you're not even aware of. Could have happened as a small child or adolescent. You've forgotten it completely. And when they mud pack that, you get a new lease on life. Now energy can freely flow through it, and a thimble full of nutrition can outperform a wheelbarrow full before. So by all means, give a buzz to the order line and get some help. 800-370-3447. All right, let's go right back to the phones. Let's go to Carol in Michigan. And she has a 22-year-old female friend whose hair is starting to turn gray. Okay, and I guess that's not the color she'd like, right?
Exactly.
Well, at that early an age, it's usually linked to a B vitamin like B12. So what I would do is recommend she get on something like Max Stress B, and maybe for a few weeks take a couple of teaspoons. A normal dose would be a half teaspoon. And take a look at dietarily. Is she doing anything that may antagonize B vitamins? Is she a strict vegetarian?
No.
Okay, because often they can have problems with B12. Okay, well, this is the first place you want to look. Does she drink much in the way of alcohol?
Oh, I'll have to ask her.
Because that also destroys B vitamins.
Okay.
That's the number one most common thing at that age. Normally, anything from about 25 down is linked somehow to a problem with B vitamins. Okay?
Okay, and oatgrass you said before will help make the hair thicker, or?
Well, that is, what that does is it blocks dihydrotestosterone, which causes a male pattern baldness, and in females, as they get much older, they actually begin producing some of this themselves and can pattern, but usually when they are 55, 60, 65 or older, it doesn't occur usually in the females very early on. If there's a loss of hair across the whole head, then of course we would expect an issue with the adrenal glands.
Okay, all right. She was just saying she liked thicker hair. But
Thicker hair, we have a product for that.
Yeah, you have hair, nails.
Hair, skin, and nails, and boy, that works really good. Okay?
Okay. All right. Thank you, doctor.
You're welcome. Take care. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
All right, let's go right back to the phones. Let's go to Nancy in Riverside, and she's concerned about her mom has some false teeth, and she has a question about changing that. Go right ahead, Nancy.
Hi. Yeah, she wanted to find out if she should get the implants so she doesn't have to worry about them falling out all the time.
Well, that would be a good idea, but also American false teeth are really, really crummy. They don't feel good in your mouth. They're made with toxic chemicals. At the very least, Nancy, what you would do is have her get a new set of false teeth that are made out of the German super safe biology materials called Valplast, V-A-L-P-L-A-S-T, or Dentsply, D-E-N-T-S-P-L-Y. So these two materials, you eat them and they don't hurt you. The stuff we use in a denture is killing everybody. So not good. As far as getting implants, the first thing I'd do for your mom, I love implants. They need to be zirconium, not titanium, unless she wants her head to be a cell phone antenna. And the other thing that has to be done is you have to make sure she's not in bone loss. So the way you check that is the first morning urine pH. So we'd want to get a roll of pH paper for her, and she just tears off a little piece, check the first morning urine pH. Our goal is to get it in the green zone, 6.4 to 7.0. You may find her in blue above the 7.0, which means she's making ammonia to buffer her urine, and she's super deficient in minerals. When you try to heal after an implant, if you're mineral deficient, you may not hold it, you may lose it, and you spend all your money and you don't get the benefit. Not a good idea. So getting the pH under control, pH paper. How old's your mom?
She's 86.
Oh, whoa, 86. No, I don't know if I'd be, you got a lot of homework to do here before she can do that. I think get her a new set of dentures for now. Get her, you got to get her on Digest and HCl so that she can digest her food. Then you got to get her pH up, and that might take a year.
Mm-hmm.
And now she could do an implant.
So if she, in the meantime, is there any certain glues she should use or anything?
No, what it is you've got to get a better material. See, I know she probably spent $2,000 for those, and she's going to be upset, but if the dentist, they're available in every dental lab, and if they're falling out, whoever did the job didn't do a good impression. You have to get someone to do a really, really good impression of the gums. Now, it may be that she's losing bone and the gums are receding, and the guy did a good job, but now it doesn't fit anymore. So, again, you come back to using digestive enzymes when she eats cooked food and getting the pH under control. But at her age, I don't recommend pH Trio. She'd need to get vitamin D3 Gold and get Greens Mix. And Greens Mix is a very gentle, very, very easy way for the body to get the minerals without a stress to your kidneys.
All right.
So that's what I would do. And maybe 2 or 3 tablespoons in a smoothie that she could drink around 3 o'clock, maybe a banana, an organic banana, and a couple tablespoons of that would taste really good. And then she's at maximum insulin sensitivity, so you're not going to make her fat. And then once you've done these things, so that you've got the first morning urine pH holding, now if you have a new set of denture impressions made, they're not going to be falling out. She'll hold that same shape of her gums, okay?
So she had H. pylori about a year and a half ago. That's where she lost the weight, and I think that's where now.
That means very, 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 very low hydrochloric acid, so any old bug could grow in the stomach. If she gets on HCl and Digest, that'll change all of that, okay?
Yeah, doing that. Oh, one more question. Can I give a dog the thing you have for the teeth right now, you're saying?
Would that be good for a dog?
Yeah,
of course.
For their gums.
But yes, of course. But remember, the dog is not designed for that crappy dog food.
Yeah, I give her all raw stuff like you were saying.
You're a smart lady.
Her gums, they said, are still a little bit, so I'm giving...
Well, the gum, not the Orobliss so much, But getting the pH Trio and the pH paper, check her morning urine.
Oh,
And
okay.
just push it right back. She's just you, but not as smart.
So the greens I can give her to keep her kidneys.
Greens will work infallibly. Yes.
Okay. All right. Well,
All right. Take care. Bye now.
bye-bye.
All right, you guys, we're getting near the end of the show, so hang loose there. If I don't get you on the air, I'm going to get you off the air, so you don't need to hang up. No worries. Don't miss today's really great special. It's our adrenal support. It's the antidote to having drank all that coffee you drank. And believe me, there's a number of steps you need to take so that you've protected the adrenals. You need to be sure there's water, there's salt, there's good sleep, B vitamins, vitamin C. And if you are anemic or you know that you're low in iron, then some tyrosine. And once you have these things set, so the body has got all the nutrients it needs, the adrenal support can be the most wonderful agent to promote ideal structure and function for the adrenals. You just take 6 or 8 at breakfast, and you do that for about 6-8 weeks. You're going to see you feel so much better. And I got to tell you, though, guys, your coffee is not going to taste as good as it used to. That's the way it goes. Our adrenal support's on special. Buy 2, get 25% off each. Just give a buzz to the order line, 800-370-3447. That's 800-370-3447. Let's go right to the phones, and let's go to Eleanor in Napa Valley. And she's concerned. She's got some scarring on the lungs and wants to know what she can do to promote the best health for the lungs.
Yes.
Are you there, Eleanor?
Yes, I am.
And how old a woman are you, and how much do you weigh?
I'm 81, and I weigh about 115.
And how do you know that the lungs have been hurt?
Okay.
Smoking?
A doctor told me this from some x-rays.
Well, okay. Well, obviously, the lung is a mucous membrane, and the mucous membranes all need vitamin D3.
D3.
D3. So if we're going to promote the best structure and function for the mucosa everywhere in the body, you'll want to take maybe about 6 drops of D3 gold and mix that in 1 ounce of water and add to it about 4 drops of the organic limonene. This is an essential oil of orange. And then mix it really, really good, Eleanor, so that the big drops of the D3 become tiny, and now it's emulsified and you can easily absorb it. This is going to be one of the best things you can do for the lung. Now, obviously, there's much more that we can do for the mucous membranes, and you'll also want to be sure that you're getting good digestion of your food, because the lungs are a backup to the large intestine. And when we can't digest well, a lot of the waste and garbage that's in the bowel may end up in the lungs. So you'll want to take 1 Quantum Digest at the start of your cooked food meal, and at the end, maybe about 2 betaine hydrochloride. Now, you shouldn't have lots of junk going into the lung anymore. This is going to be a good start. You give a buzz to the order line. They can review these things and give you a couple of other ideas as well. Thanks for your call. Bye now. All right, you guys that are on the line, stay right there. We'll catch you off the air.
You've been listening to Dr. Bob Marshall, Ph.D., on Healthline Live. To find out more about these specials or any of our other great products, call 1-800-370-3447. That's 1-800-370-3447. Dr. Marshall's comments have not been evaluated by the FDA and are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Have a healthy and radiant day.
You've been listening to Dr. Bob Marshall, Ph.D. on Healthline Live, where your questions and concerns about ongoing health challenges are addressed with the latest nutritional protocols and quantum state technology. Thanks to everyone who called in. If you didn't get your question on the air, call us at 800-370-3447, and one of his trained associates can help you. Your good health is important to us. Don't forget to take advantage of our daily blockbuster special at 800-370-3447. That's 800-370-3447. you can create a healthy and happy you.
KCAA invites you to join Dr. Donald Gabriel Jolly for What's It All About. He's never without words.
I have an opinion about everything.
He talks about everything.
You can say, I love you, and be fired by the power of the crotch instead of the real meaning of love. You have an illness. It is called terminal acute hornitis.
Join Dr. Jolly for What's It All About? 3 o'clock Wednesday afternoon on KCAA 1050 AM. U&I Auto Truck Parts and Wrecking is loaded with 15 acres of used, salvaged, and rebuilt parts for your car or truck. Sure, you could go to any wrecking yard, but U&I has what it takes. Expertise, high-quality products, and the finest customer service you'll receive anywhere. U&I makes custom drive shafts, furnishes full warranties on all their parts, and keeps up on industry changes. Call 909-888-6841. You'll be impressed by the fast and friendly response from the U&I skilled staff. You can also go to the Contact Us page and request a part. U&I hours of operation are Monday through Friday, 8 till 5, and Saturday, 8 till 3. U&I Auto Truck Parts and Wrecking is located at 1435 West Rialto Avenue in San Bernardino. Check out the U&I webpage at the letter U, the letter I, autoparts.com, or call 909-888-6841. 909-888-6841.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3 FM.
Must be CNBC. The Federal Reserve today voting to leave interest rates unchanged for now, but said more rate hikes are coming as long as the economy continues to grow. Meantime, good news about jobs today, too. 177,000 were added by private employers in April. And with that, the Dow today up by 8 points. The Nasdaq, though, down